Diamonds are forever.
So, I tell a lot of stories. The one I'm about to tell may be the most important story I've ever told. So you've probably heard of the Greek philosopher Plato, but you might not have read his dialogue, The Republic. Plato ends the dialogue with a story called the myth of Ur is a Greek warrior, and he dies in battle. When his fellow soldiers take his body and put it on a pyre to be burned, they light the fire, and suddenly Ur comes back to life. When he comes back to life, Ur tells them that he spent some time in the afterlife, and he's come back to tell them what to expect. Ur describes being led to a big field, and in this field there are 4 doors. 2 doors that lead into the sky, and 2 doors that lead into the earth. There are souls going into one of the sky doors and souls going into one of the earth doors. At the same time, there are souls coming out of one of the sky doors and souls coming out of one of the earth doors. The souls that come out of the sky door describe spending 1,000 years surrounded by beauty and joy. Likewise, the souls that come out of one of the doors in the ground describe spending 1,000 years surrounded by pain and anguish. Then Ur is led with the souls, regardless of what door they came out of, on a 7-day hike through a field. When they get to the end of the hike, they see a large pillar of light colored like a rainbow coming out of the sky and surrounded by 3 women who are the sisters of fate. The Fate Sisters then helped all the souls choose a new life to live on Earth. Some of them chose a normal life because that's what they had had before, and they just chose it out of habit. Some chose a life of luxury. Some chose to come back as animals. Ur, of course, didn't choose a life. He just watched the whole thing and made note of what was happening. After the souls chose a new life, they were then assigned a Daimon. A Daimon was a spirit that would accompany them on their new life invisibly and help them to live it, to help keep them on track, help them do what they had chosen in the afterlife to do on Earth. As I think was clear, I recorded that a couple of years ago when I first discovered the story of the myth of Ur. And at the time, that story was really significant to me. It still is, especially as it relates to the idea of the Daimon. One of the things that I think is important about this story is I don't think when Plato told the story that he was telling it because he thought he was explaining what happened in the afterlife. I don't believe he thought that was what really happened in the afterlife. I believe he thought telling that story that it did what all myths are supposed to do, and that is to kind of give us an archetypal view of human life and give us a map to kind of navigate living by. And so the way that I think that story is valuable for navigating life is I think we can look at our lives, whether we believe we have a daemon or not, or if we believe we're guided by our higher self or truer self or future self, whether we believe any of that, we can kind of live that way as if there's a destiny that we're moving towards, and that we are living a life that we have chosen, and our job is to stay on the track of it. And so I think that's kind of what Plato was urging people towards, is not to just kind of live like your life doesn't have a meaning or a purpose, but instead to push towards a goal, but instead to to make your life kind of about a value, about a mission, and keep yourself on the path of that mission at all cost. I believe that's what the value of a daimon is, and that's what's really incredible to think about when you think about maybe being guided by yourself. Is that what could yourself become if this acorn that is you, if it grows into the potential oak that is inside of it? Just how big and incredible could that oak be?